and his turban, and his dress, and his demeanor, and his personality.
Megszólította az embereket, hogy kedves amerikai testvéreim, és a beszéde után nagyon értékelték, hogy hatalmas sikere volt, nagyon vonzotta az embereket a turbágya, a szafran ruhája, az egész kisugárzása.
Hinduism is a non-politicizing religion, you know that. Hinduism, non-proselytizing means it doesn't convert people.
Nem akar megtéríteni embereket.
It doesn't believe in converting people.
Nem hisz abban, hogy megtérítsen másokat.
It's one of the pagan religions, not one of the non-biblical religions.
Ez egy úgynevezett pogány vallás, mert hogy nem a Biblián alapul.
It has never believed in converting people.
Soha nem hitt abban, hogy megtérítsen másokat.
The movement which the Krishna consciousness people are doing all over the world is not to convert people, but to make people aware of what Hinduism can offer.
Amit a Krisna-tudatos mozgalom csinál a világban, az nem arról szól, hogy megtérítsen másokat, hanem hogy legyenek tudatosak arról, hogy mit tud a hinduizmus adni.
There is no force.
Nincs kényszer.
There is no other provocation.
Nincs provokáció.
You are free to choose your destination, the way you want to lead your life.
Szabadon választhatjátok meg, hogy mi a célotok, és hogyan akarjátok élni az életeteket.
Thank you very much, Madam, for inviting me to this college.
Nagyon szépen köszönöm a meghívást az iskolába.
You are our well-known friends for a number of years. People say that you've been very close to the embassy. So, on behalf of the embassy, I bring you greetings to the college, to you, and to the movement. I understand this is the one of its kind, this college, in the whole of Hungary.
Well, the first.
És köszöntöm, aki már nagyon régóta kapcsolatban áll a nagykövetséggel, és hozom onnan az üdvözletüket. Főiskolával is kapcsolatban áll, ami ugye egy ilyen van Magyarországon és igazából Európában is.
I wanted to know if the students are doing any other course anywhere else or exclusively doing this.
Akartam tudni, hogy a diákok járnak-e máshova is tanulni, vagy kizárólag itt képzitek most magatokat?
Are you studying anywhere else or?
Van, aki tanul másik iskolában is most?
No, just this.
Csak ezt csinálják.
And you are exclusively studying Hinduism.
És kizárólag a hinduizmus tanuljátok.
Unfortunately, I don't think they have a study on comparative religions in the universities. I do not know if LTA has got a comparative religion program. And do they teach Hinduism as a part of the comparative religions?
Én a hinduizmust az összehasonlító vallástudomány.
I'm not sure about that. However, if this is the only one of its kind, I think this needs to be encouraged.
De azt gondolom, hogy ha csak egy ilyen iskola van, ezt kell bátorítani.
And I would like to also pay homage to the great founder of this movement,
Szeretném a tiszteletemet ajánlani
Sri
a
Prabhupada Swami,
mozgalom alapítójának,
who has been a very powerful personality,
aki egy nagyon hatalmas személyiség volt a hinduizmusban,
who has brought this movement to various parts of the world.
És aki ezt a mozgalmat a világ különböző részeire eljutatta.
Thanks to him that today this is such a worldwide movement, this Krishna consciousness.
Neki köszönhető, hogy a Krishna tudat ma egy világmozgalom.
Krishna consciousness flows out of Bhagavad Gita.
A Krishna tudat a Bhagavad Gitán alapszik.
I think Bhagavad Gita is like a Bible for the movement, and is also like a Bible for all Hindus.
A Bhagavad Gita a mozgalom számára olyan, mint a Biblia.
Bhagavad Gita contains the core of Krishna consciousness. What should be Krishna consciousness?
Tartalmazza a Krishna tudatnak a gyökerét, a lényegét.
The very first invocation to Krishna by Lord Arjuna, when he says, "O Lord Krishna, I do not understand what is happening around me," brings the Lord's grace to Arjuna.
A Bhagavad Gitában ugye Arjuna megszólítja Krishnát, és azt mondja, hogy nem tudom, hogy mi történik körülöttem, kérlek segíts, és ez a megszólítása vonzza a Krishnának a kegyét.
We are all like Arjuna.
Mindannyian olyanok vagyunk, mint Arjuna.
All helpless in the battle of life.
Mindannyian tehetetlenek vagyunk az élet.
We do not know how to handle our problems, our worries. He had his people to fight.
Nem tudjuk kezelni a problémáinkat.
He had his own relatives, his friends, his people with whom he grew up.
Olyan személyekkel, akikkel együtt nőtt fel.
We have our own worries around us to fight.
Nekünk is meg kell
Every time,
saját
every moment, day in and day out. We are all like Arjunas in the battlefield of life.
Olyanok vagyunk, mint Arjuna az élet csataterén.
We all need a Krishna
Mindannyian meg kell
to give us
szólni
grace.
Krishnát, hogy adja a kegyét.
And Krishna is the Paramatma,
Krishna Paramatma.
is the supreme Godhead,
Ő a legfelsőbb istenség.
described as the supreme Godhead.
Így írják meg,
From
hogy a
him
legfelsőbb istenség.
comes the creation
Tőle származik a teremtés.
through a great lineage coming down to Swan Prabhupada.
És akkor
And many
száll
other
alá
illustrious
láncolat
people.
Prabhupádi.
We need a Krishna in our lives for the sheer fact that we need the grace of the Master. He was the supreme Master.
Szükségünk van Krishna kegyére, mert szükségünk van a Mester kegyére, és ő a legfelsőbb Mester.
Who's that? Who can give us that grace?
Ki tudja adni nekünk ezt a kegyet?
Do we need a physical guru?
Szükségünk van egy fizikai
Do we need a
gurura?
physical master? Do we need the presence of a person in front of us to give us that advice?
Szükségünk van egy személyre, aki előttünk áll és tanácsot ad nekünk?
We need so. I think we need a master to guide us
Igen,
along the
kell,
way.
hogy legyen egy mester, aki vezet bennünket az úton.
And therefore we need teachings
És ezért szükség
of
van
this great
tanításokra,
master.
a nagy mesterektől.
And therefore we need this movement.
És ezért szükség van erre a mozgalomra.
We don't have to be converted. We can stay where we are. But we still need the presence of somebody in our life.
Nem kell megtérnünk, csinálhatjuk tovább, amit
To
csinálunk.
guide us.
De kell, hogy valaki
take us
vezesse
forward.
az életünkbe, hogy tudjunk előre haladni.
Amidst all these worries, amidst all these problems, amidst all these tensions,
Sok aggodalom és
constantly
probléma
hitting us from all
és
sides.
veszély közepette, ezek minden oldalról támadnak bennünket.
Today, as I was coming to your college, I was reflecting on what Krishna consciousness movement is, how it has spread the world over.
Ma, ahogy jöttem,
I think this is one movement unique.
gondolkoztam rajta,
in
hogy
its
mi ez a
dimensions.
Krisna mozgalom, hogyan
I
terjed a
don't think
világon.
any other movement within the fold of Hinduism have done so much.
Ez egy egyedi mozgalom, és nem hiszem, hogy
For
van egy
the
másik
cause of
mozgalom,
Hinduism.
ami ilyen sokat tett volna a hinduizmusért.
So all of you should be thankful that you are also learning about it.
Hogy legyetek hálásak, hogy tanulhattok erről.
Let me speak something about our Vedic civilization.
Hadd mondjak valamit a védikus civilizációnkról.
You know, the word Hindu came a lot later.
Tudjátok, ez a hindu kifejezés
It was a coinage of the colonial people,
a gyarmatosítók,
of the British people.
az angoloktól.
It was purely a geographical term, Hindu.
Ez csak egy
Hindu came
földrajzi
from the word
kifejezés.
Sindhu.
A hindu szó a Sindhu szóból származik.
There was a river called Sindhu.
Volt egy Sindhu nevű folyó,
And the people who lived on the banks of the Sindhu were called Hindus.
és azok a személyek,
Nothing
akik
more than that.
a Sindhu folyó partján
But this was not the name of the
hívták.
religion.
De nem ez a vallás neve.
The name of the religion was Sanatana Dharma.
A vallásnak az volt a neve, hogy Sanatana Dharma.
What is Sanatana Dharma?
Mi ez a Sanatana Dharma?
Sanatana Dharma is eternal religion, Sanatana.
A Sanatana Dharma az örök vallás, Sanatana.
Sanatana means one which has no beginning, no end.
Sanatana azt jelenti, hogy aminek nincs kezdete és nincs vége.
Yoga, you said, somebody said something else. All these are derivatives of Sanatana Dharma.
Volt szó a jogáról, volt szó valami másról, ezek mind a Sanatana Dharmából származnak.
Because the entire morphos of this religion has come down through a oral form.
Mert ennek a vallásnak a lényege szájhagyomány útján szállt alá.
It is not written anywhere. It is not codified anywhere.
Nincs kódban.
It was through some aphorisms which came,
Voltak aforizmák,
through some truths
igazságok,
which were discovered.
amiket felfedeztek.
For example, you discover the truth that the apple will fall always down. There is a law of gravitation. It is a law.
Fel tudjuk fedezni azt az igazságot, hogy az alma mindig leesik a fára.
Somebody discovers it.
Ez a gravitáció.
And it becomes famous.
És valaki
But the law was always there.
felismeri, És akkor
The apple always fell from the
de a
tree.
törvény mindig ott volt, mindig létezett.
It was only Newton who came lot later to discover it and became famous.
Newton később fedezte fel, és így híressé vált.
So Newton had not invented that law.
Nem Newton találta ki ezt a törvényt.
Similarly, there are certain laws of nature
Hasonló módon vannak a természetnek törvényei,
which were discovered by certain rishis, seers, maharishis, great people.
amit különböző rishik, bölcsek, maharishik, nagy személyiségek
How did they
fedeztek fel.
discover?
Hogy fedezték fel?
They sat in meditation. They sat
Leültek meditálni.
in isolation, in contemplation, in
Elszigetelődve,
reflection,
meditáltak, elgondolkodtak.
and discovered these truths for the world, for all of us.
Felfedezték ezeket az igazságokat a világ.
These are what we call the eternal truths.
Ezeket hívjuk örök igazságoknak.
This does not belong to any religious group.
Ez nem tartozik semmilyen vallási csoporthoz.
These are true for all religions, all over the world.
Ezek az igazságok minden vallási csoport számára igazságok.
Sanatana Dharma is a completely non-parochial, non-exclusive religion.
A Sanatana Dharma semmilyen valláshoz nem tartozik, és egyáltalán
It embraces all faiths. It embraces all beliefs.
Minden hitet magába foglal, minden
Anybody of you can walk into the temple.
Bárki besétálhat közületek a templomba.
That is the beauty of Sanatana Dharma.
Ez a Sanatana Dharma szépség.
It embraces everybody.
Mindenki.
Nobody is disallowed.
Nincs senki, akit nem enged.
Therefore, it has become so expansive
Ezért olyan kiterjedt
since its inception.
a kezdete óta.
And Sanatana Dharma was a way of life.
És a Sanatana
It
Dharma
was not a religion.
egy életmód, nem egy vallás.
A way of life is much more than a religion.
Az életmód az sokkal több, mint a vallás.
Vedas, which are what we call are the earliest repository of knowledge for all of us,
Ami mindannyiunk számára a legkorábbi tudásgyűjtemény,
had no mention of religion.
nem említi a vallást.
Rigveda starts with the first invocation of Rigveda, the first Veda.
Invokációja így kezdődik, ez az
Starts with the invocation to Agni.
Agnit szólítja meg.
Agni means fire.
Agni azt jelenti, hogy tűz.
Fire is venerated.
A tűz
Why?
tiszteletet kap. Miért?
Because the early men at the time,
Mert az a korai emberek,
2000 years before Jesus Christ,
Krisztus előtt 2000 évvel,
they were bewildered by this phenomenon of fire, of water, of sky, of space, of sun, of moon.
látva ezeket a dolgokat, mint a tűz, az űr, a hold, az ég.
So they wrote hymns to them.
És akkor himnuszokat írtak hozzájuk.
Those hymns are in detail codified in the Vedas.
Ezeket a himnuszokat részletesen lejegyzik a védák.
Therefore you will see that the earliest men lived with nature, always embraced nature.
A legkorábbi emberek a természettel együtt éltek.
And thereafter started worshipping nature.
És elkezdték imádni a természetet.
Out of not understanding nature, the magnitude of nature before
Nem
them.
értették a hatalmasságát a természetnek.
And such worships came down in the form of nature worship.
És ez az imádat alászállt, mint a természetimádat.
There are 4 Vedas, as you would know, which constitute the basic of all the Vedic learning, what we have.
4 véda van, amelyek az
The Rig Veda,
a védikus tudásnak.
the Samveda, which is the Yajurveda, the Atharvaveda, the 4 Vedas.
Ez a 4 véda.
The Samaveda is a kind of chantings.
A Számavéda az...
Therefore, we say that Indian music has been drawn from Samaveda.
Azt mondjuk, hogy az indiai zene a Számavédából származik.
Atharvaveda calls for certain rituals.
Az Atharvavéda rituálikat illel.
And Yajurveda is the complete summation of all these Vedas, what we have.
A Yajurvéda pedig az összes védának az összegzése.
And the Vedas had the Vedanta. You said Vedanta. You would like to know Vedanta. What is Vedanta?
És aztán szó volt a Védantáról, szeretnétek megismerni a Védanták. Mi ez a
Vedanta is the anta of Veda.
A Véda az a Védának az antája.
That is the knowledge portion of the Vedas.
A tudás része a Védának.
Every Veda had 2 parts.
Minden Védának 2 része volt.
the ritual part and the knowledge part.
A rituálé része és a tudás része.
What we call the karma kand and the jnana kand.
Amit úgy hívjuk, hogy karmakánda vagy gyánakánda.
The karma kand was nearly 90% of the Vedics, whatever was there, written form.
A karmakánda az a 90%-a volt a
The jnana kand was the 10% of it.
gyánakánda pedig a 10%.
But the 10% was the core of that Veda.
De az a 10% volt
The knowledge.
a Védának, a tudásnak.
This Vedanta, or what we call also Upanishads,
Ez a Vedanta, amit Upanishadoknak is nevezünk.
there are over 200 Upanishads which are known
Több mint 200
to mankind,
ismert, az
out of
emberiség
which
számára
11 are
ismert,
core Upanishads.
amiből 11
I do not know whether you are teaching Upanishads to them. You are teaching Upanishads, so all of you would know the major Upanishads, what we have. The Isha, the Kena, the Gatha, the Tatireya, the Atireya, the Chandogya, the Brihadaranyaka, Manduka, Mandukya. All these are the major Upanishads.
Ezek a fő Upanishadok.
What do these Upanishads tell us?
Mit mondanak ezek az Upanishadok?
They are core knowledge.
Ezek mind tudást tartalmaznak.
What is that knowledge?
Mi ez a tudás?
The knowledge is Brahman.
A tudás az a Brahman.
All belongs to Brahman.
Minden a Brahmanhoz tartozik.
We, as human beings, also belong to Brahman.
Mi, mint emberi lények is a Brahmanhoz tartozunk.
How do we belong to Brahman?
Hogyan tartozunk a Brahmanhoz?
As Atman.
Mint Atman.
The relation between Atman and Brahman,
A kapcsolat az
in
Atman
various
és
forms,
a Brahman
be it
között.
stories, be it examples, be it parables,
Példákban,
be it theories,
teóriákban,
be it theology,
teológiában.
is precisely this, the relation between Atman and Brahman.
Mindegyik arról szól, hogy mi a
That is
kapcsolat
the
az
core of
Atman
this
és a
knowledge.
Brahman között. Ez a tudásnak az alapja.
And thereafter, the metaphysical way of how the Atman transcends and gets dissolved in the knowledge, in the Brahman.
És aztán van ez a filozófiai tanítás, hogy az Atman hogyan szabadul fel és olvad bele a Brahmanba.
That is the substance of Hinduism in nutshell.
Ez a hinduizmus lényege dióhéjban.
I think I have simplified your 3 years in just one sentence.
Azt hiszem,
How
hogy
the relation you have between the Atman and the Brahman.
egy mondatban összefoglaltam a tanulmányaimat,
Simple,
az
isn't it?
Atman és a Brahman közötti kapcsolat.
It's not that simple.
Nem ilyen egyszerű.
It's a huge subject.
Ez egy hatalmas téma.
Many people are scared to know what Brahman. Brahmand. Brahmand means the entire cosmos.
A Brahmanda az az egész kozmosz.
And when we say the entire universe is our family, also from Rig Veda.
És ez is a Rig Veda mondja, hogy az egész univerzum a család.
That's a great saying from the Rig Veda. The whole universe is my family.
Ez egy híres mondás a Rig Vedában.
What does
Az
it
egész
mean?
univerzum a
That I'm
család.
a part of the universe. That I'm an integral part of the
És
universe.
jelent, hogy én is szerves része vagyok ennek az
And
univerzumnak.
if I'm a part, all of us are parts.
És mindannyian a részei vagyunk.
And if all of us are parts, I hold an integral relation with all of us.
És hogyha mindannyian a részei vagyunk, akkor mindannyiunk között van egy egyéni kapcsolat.
That's a great saying of the Rig Veda, the first Veda.
Ez az első Védának, a Rig Védának egy híres kijelentés.
And therefore believe that Vasudeva Kutumbakam means the whole universe is our family. Which means that the entire, spread out your arms
Így az egész
wide,
univerzum a család.
embrace all of us.
Tárjuk
We are all
szépen
family.
és öleljük meg mindannyiunkat. Mindannyian egy családhoz tartozunk.
So these are the great sayings of Sanatan Dharma, which was later made Sanatan Dharma. It was no mention of Sanatan Dharma
Tehát ez
in the beginning.
Sanatana Dharmáról szól. A kezdetben nem volt említve ez a Sanatana Dharma.
Vedic civilization first epitomized knowledge.
A védikus civilizáció először a tudást.
Long before we had anything called knowledge in the Europe or America or any part of the world, we had knowledge in this part of the world through Sanatan Dharma and Vedic civilization.
Mint Amerikában, vagy Európában, vagy bárhol máshol a világon.
How? Because Vedic civilization contained almost all the subjects you can think of.
A védikus civilizáció szinte minden témával foglalkozik, amire gondolni tudtok.
It had arts, it had culture, it had design, it had architecture,
építészettel,
it had mathematics, it had astronomy, it had astrology,
csillagászattal, asztrológiával,
it had city planning.
várostervezéssel.
Everything what you can think of for modern life, what we call today's modern
Bármire is
life,
tudunk gondolni, a mai modern
was
életben.
precisely detailed
Ez pontosan, részletesen le volt írva.
In the Vedic civilization. And the Vedic civilization, if you go to Mohenjo-daro and Harappa today,
Ha ma elmentek Mohenjo-daro,
which were just around the same time,
ami körülbelül abban az időben
maybe with a difference of 400-500 years,
talán 400-500 év különbség.
the ruins of Mohenjo-daro and Harappa are still there.
Még mindig ott vannak a romjai Mohenjo-daro.
It is now in this territory called Pakistan.
Most Pakisztánban vannak.
Both of them.
Mind a kettő.
You can go there, you can see the ruins.
De ha elmegy oda az ember,
Of
akkor
that
látja annak a kornak a maradványait.
And if you see the ruins, you will see how city planning was at that time, how cities were built,
Látjátok a maradványokat, akkor látjátok,
how the system of drainage is, how the system of roads are.
tervezés, az utcák felépítése, a csatornázás.
That is what we call the greatest height of civilization.
Ezt nevezzük
Those cities which were, of course, discovered in ruins long time later.
Persze sokkal később találták meg a maradványokat.
The later day people who lived in those cities and later on migrated what are called the Aryans. You know the Aryans? Aryan has become somewhat of a pejorative word in some parts of Europe, but Aryans are commonly believed to have been a part of that, contemporaries of that. Don't say the other Aryans, okay? The other Aryans may not be that good.
Az árjáknak van olyan pejoratív jelentése is, de tudjátok, hogy az árják voltak azok, akik ezen a területen éltek.
We have in India, as you may have learnt, there are two basic races in India, Aryans and Dravidians.
Indiában két alapfaj van, az árják és a dravidák.
Aryans were the first bearers of the Vedic
Az
civilization.
árják voltak a védikus civilizáció első képviselői.
For example, Sanskrit,
Mint például a szanszkrit.
in which all these verses have been codified.
Ezen a nyelven írtak.
That is an Aryan language.
Ez egy árja nyelv.
And it is said to be the mother of all languages.
És azt mondják, hogy ez minden nyelvnek az anyja.
And it is said that Sanskrit has a lot of affinities with many European languages,
És azt mondják, hogy a szanszkritnek sok kapcsolata van sok európai nyelven is.
including German.
Beleértve a német.
And therefore Sanskrit is used to codify many other languages phonetically.
Szanszkritot használják sok nyelvek a tanulásához, fonetikailag.
We feel that being part of Vedic civilization, we had got that knowledge, the source of knowledge, that fountain of knowledge, which was coming down to us since at least 3,500 to 4,000 years.
Úgy érezzük, hogy mi ennek a tudásnak a befogadói vagyunk, és ez a tudás már több mint 3000-3500 éve alá szám.
Today, if in India or if in Asia, we pride ourselves to be a knowledge civilization, or we pride ourselves to be a knowledge country, knowledge economy.
Indiában, meg hát Ázsiában is úgy gondolkodunk, hogy mi a tudásnak a civilizációja vagyunk, a tudás határozza meg a társadalmunkat, a gazdaságunkat.
It is simply because there is a continuity.
Egyszerűen csak amiatt, hogy van egy folytonosság.
The Vedic civilization has continued from that time to now,
A védikus
continuously.
civilizáció folytatódik azóta máig.
The Indian civilization, which is otherwise the Vedic civilization, is the longest continued civilization in the world.
Az indiai civilizáció a leghosszabb.
Many of the civilizations you see in history have come and gone.
Sok civilizáció jött és ment.
Many parts of the world you see glorious civilizations. You see the Romans, the Egyptians, the Sumerians, many types of people who have come. But they have come for 1,000 years, 1,500 years, 2,000 years, perished, gone
Ezeket a
away.
civilizációkat láttuk, hogy jöttek és mentek, de aztán az indiai ez meg megmarad.
Why? Only the Vedic civilization has continued, flourished to
Csak
the
a védikus
present day.
civilizáció folytatódott és virágzott.
Even in India today, if you go to a village, you will see the same chanting, some way of incantation of the verses as you had in those days.
Elmentek egy faluba, akkor fogjátok
That is the
látni,
continuity.
ugyanúgy éneklik a mantrákat, mint sok ezer évvel.
You will see the same cultures, the same ways of life as was adopted 3,500 years ago. Today, even with modernity.
És életmódot fogjátok látni.
That is the beauty.
Annak ellenére, hogy ott van a modernitás. Ez az
And why has Vedic civilization continued for so long? How has it been able to withstand
hogy tudott fennmaradni ilyen sokáig?
the changes?
A változásokban.
Simply because its foundation is very strong.
Azért, mert nagyon erős az alapja.
And what is its foundation?
És mi az alapja?
Its foundation is knowledge.
Az alapja a tudás.
We didn't go out to conquer the world like the Romans did, or Egyptians
Nem
did,
mentünk, hogy meghódítsuk
or
a világot,
Alexander the Great
a
did.
rómaiak, vagy az egyiptomiak, vagy Nagy Sándor.
You know when Alexander the Great came to invade India?
Tudjátok, hogy Nagy Sándor eljött egészen
He
Indiába.
invaded India. He fought our people. He conquered our people.
Harcolt az
But when he left,
embereket, amikor elment,
he took with him a guru with him, an Indian guru with him.
egy gurút.
He said that India has given me so much knowledge. What have I given to India?
Indiában olyan sok tudást kaptam.
And I have conquered this land.
És én meghódítottam.
He took with him a Vedic guru
De magával vitt egy védikus gurút.
back to his own kingdom.
Saját királyságában.
Of course, he didn't live long to enjoy the virtues of having such a guru. But that was what his feeling was after seeing so much.
De így érzett Indiával kapcsolatban, amikor olyan sokat látott belőle.
There is a theory that all great people have come to India for meditation, for practice, for yoga, including Jesus Christ.
Csak hogy nagyon sokan eljöttek Indiába, hogy megismerjék a kultúráját, a meditációt.
It is up to you to believe or not.
Még Jézus Krisztus is járt.
There is evidence.
Tőletek függ, hogy elhiszitek vagy nem, de van rá bizonyíték.
If you go to Kashmir, in the north of India, you will see a tomb of Mary,
Észak-Indiában,
Mother Mary.
akkor megtaláljátok
It is said the last 15 years of Jesus Christ's life was unknown, where he was.
Azt mondják, hogy nem lehet tudni, hogy Krisztus az
Before he came back to Jerusalem for the last part of his life.
Visszajött Jeruzsálembe.
And it is said that he learned meditation in Kashmir.
Azt mondják, hogy
And he learned yoga in Banaras
és Benáres
with the gurus of that time.
az akkori gurukkal kapcsolódott.
We do not know. It's up to you to believe or
Nem
not to
tudjuk,
believe.
rajtunk függ, hogy elhisszük.
But I have read books written on that.
De olvassam erről könyveket.
The point I'm making is India was such a country which was attracting so many people from
De azért
elsewhere.
mondani akarok, hogy a világ minden részéről India.
And precisely because we had that wisdom in us,
És azért vonzottam, mert ott van
that knowledge which was distilled wisdom.
ez a tudás, ami a bölcsesség.
And this knowledge was not external.
És ez a tudás, ez nem
This knowledge was internalized knowledge.
Ez belül lévő tudás.
Because of this relation between the Atman and the Brahman.
Az Atman és a Brahman közötti kapcsolat miatt.
Because people try to understand what is within us, not without
Az
us.
emberek próbálják megérteni, hogy mi rejlik bennünk, nem csak az, hogy mi van.
That is why you say in meditation you go internal.
Ezért mondják azt, hogy a meditáció
In yoga you say you go
befelé
internal.
fordul, a joga
You connect the external with the
befelé
internal.
fordul, a külsődleges összekapcsolja a belső.
That is a voyage into the within.
Ez az utazás belül.
And that is what knowledge was, that Indian knowledge was.
És ez volt az indiai tudás.
Here the Western world is more into externals.
A nyugati világ a
So much of achievements people have got, all in the external domain.
Az embereknek annyi eredménye van, de mind a külső
Yes, they are good.
világban.
They are needed. They are needed for your life.
Szükség van ezekre is az életünkhöz.
But at the end of it all, you need that little happiness,
De a végén kell a belső boldogság.
which comes out of internals.
Ez a boldogság, ez belülről fakad.
Which has to be internal, because you cannot associate your happiness with external objects.
Ennek belülről
External objects will give you happiness for a few minutes or a few hours.
Mert a külsődleges tárgyak csak néhány percig, néhány óráig tudnak bennünk.
Your happiness lies within yourself.
A boldogságunk valójában bennünk rejlik.
To discover your happiness, you have to go within yourself.
Ahhoz, hogy megtaláljuk a boldogságunkat, befelé kell tekintenünk.
And that is the fountain of knowledge which lies within yourself, for which India is so proud
Ez
today.
a tudás forrása, ami bennünk rejlik, erre olyan büszke India ma.
The great spiritual traditions of India is what attracts people from all over the world to
India
India.
kiváló lelki hagyománya
Not its
az embereket a
other
világ
things.
részéről, nem a más dolgok.
The economy is fine. Economy for a big country, for a big market, there is a big economy, that's fine.
Piac van, a gazdaság az rendben van.
But the bigness of the country is more for the bigness of the philosophy, for the spirituality, for the spiritual dimension of that
Igazából
place.
a filozófia és a lelki dimenziója.
And that is why Indian people, by and large, right from the poor, very poor, to the very rich, have all a spiritual dimension within themselves.
És
Overflowing.
Indiában a legszegényebb embertől a leggazdagabbig mindenki belül a lelkiséggel fog.
That is why the whole world is coming to India.
Ezért jön az egész világ.
In search of something which they are not finding in their own societies.
A saját társadalom.
Many people from Europe coming, many people from America coming, many people from other parts of the world coming to India. They go to Banaras,
mennek Benárezbe,
they do meditation on the banks of the Ganga.
meditációt csinálnak a Ganges partján.
Why?
Miért?
They don't know what it is, but they are in search of something.
De keresnek valamit.
That something comes from the Vedic civilization.
Ez a valami, ez a védikus civilizációból.
And today when we stand at now to study the Vedic civilization, we know how rich our civilization
És
was.
ma, amikor tanulmányozzuk a
And
védikus
is.
civilizációt, tudjuk, hogy milyen gazdag volt, és milyen gazdag ma is.
The civilization which was and is, that is our civilization.
A civilizáció, ami volt is, és van is, ez a mi civilizáció.
And that is what you are studying as students of this college.
És ezt tanuljátok ti,
So you should be proud.
a főiskola hallgatóiként.
You are studying a civilization which gives you so much of strength.
Legyetek büszkék rá, ez egy olyan civilizáció, ami nagyon sok
That you are a part of it. That you are a part of it. That you are a part of the civilization through your study and through connecting with that civilization.
Tanulmányokon keresztül részei vagytok ennek a civilizációnak, és kapcsolatban álltok vele.
And this has been brought to you by this movement, Krishna Consciousness Movement, thanks to the great Guru Swami Sri Prabhupada Nanda.
Srila Prabhupádtól.
So there is the connection which I hold very dear to this movement is the Jagannath connection, Sri Jagannath connection. Because I come from a town which has the temple of Sri Jagannath, and I know that so many people from the Krishna Consciousness movement come to my small town year after year to pay their worship to this Sri Jagannath. You have your Sri Jagannath Rath Yatra, very famous car festival, which is pulling these deities on the road. It has an elaborate festival which comes from my town. And therefore, wherever I have been greatly associated, very closely associated with this movement. As if it's a part of mine. And as if it's a part of my own, I belong to it.
Mert a sajátomnak érzem, hozzá tartozom.
So I feel happy that I am here today.
Boldog vagyok, hogy itt vagyok.
And I am very, very grateful that Srimad Dasa invited me along with the principal to come to your college and share some of my thoughts about it. Maybe some knowledge which we are all sharing between ourselves. There is no higher knowledge or lesser knowledge, it is just knowledge.
A tudás a lényeg.
We are just in the process of sharing that knowledge among ourselves and getting enriched in the process.
Ez a folyamat, hogy megosztjuk egymással ezt a tudást, és gazdagodunk által.
So on behalf of the Embassy of India and all of us, all my colleagues here, Marian and Miklos and all of us who are here, all colleagues from the Embassy, may I also extend to you our very happy greetings for the college, to the students, and anytime you wish to come to our Embassy, you are most welcome. Come to our activities. Yesterday, in fact, we had a very nice yoga workshop. You could have come. Ayurveda and yoga workshop. Yesterday we had, and it was a great success. And we are going to have a yoga day on 31st of May. Everybody is free to come. You can come, learn about the theory and practice of yoga. What the yoga theory is from Patanjali. We will explain that, and we'll also have some practice sessions. And it will be during the day of 31st May, it's a Saturday. Please note it down, and please tell your students if they can join us. They are most welcome to do so. In the Indian Embassy itself, in my house or my lodge. So you'll be most welcome to come and take part in that. And we want to bring in this movement more and more, this knowledge movement more and more. This thing of coming closer to yourself. You are not going anywhere out. That is coming within yourself, getting closer to within yourself. And that's a beautiful feeling. The more you go within yourself, the more you discover yourself, the more you go penetrate yourself, that is a beautiful feeling. If you have money, you can go travel far and wide in the farthest corners of the world, but you will not be happy. You will not get happiness by going all over the world, getting all the desires fulfilled, getting 10 houses, 20 cars, all that, you will never be happy. That happiness lies within yourself. For that you have to come, you have to discover yourself. And this is the knowledge through which you discover yourself. Thank you very much. Om. Hari Om. Jai Ram. Jai Krishna. Any questions people have? Yes. Anybody has any questions?
Van valakinek kérdése?
Yes.
You mentioned that you live in Jagannath Puri.
Említetted, hogy Jagannath Puriban élsz.
How is life in Jagannath Puri nowadays?
Milyen manapság az
Religious
élet
life.
Puriban?
How is life in Jagannath
The
Puri?
religious life in Jagannath Puri.
A vallási élet.
Jagannath Puri has two lives.
Jagannath Puriban két élet van.
One is the religious life, one is the secular life.
Az egyik a vallási élet, a másik a világi élet.
The religious life is basically practiced by people who live off the temple.
A vallási életet
There are about 1,000 people
gyakorolják, akik a templomban
who are basically connected to the temple.
és kapcsolatban állnak a templomban.
And there are about 10,000 people who are connected to this 1,000 people.
10,000 ember van, aki meg ehhez az 1,000 emberhez.
So together these 11,000 people comprise the religious life of Jagannath.
Együtt ez a 11,000 ember alkotja a vallási életét Jagannath Purinak.
I am not among those 11,000 people. So when I go to the temple, I go as a secular person.
Én amikor elmegyek a templomba, akkor én úgy megyek.
And some of these religious people have, in a way, got a lot of hold on some of the rituals of the temple.
Ezek a vallási személyek vallásosságot gyakorolnak.
The way they have got a hold is, that is traditional, that has come down
Ez egy hagyomány,
from ancient times,
ami ősi idők.
thousands of years. The same ritual is being followed by the same family.
Rituálét követi ugyanaz a család.
It is very difficult to break it.
Nagyon nehéz ezt megtörni.
And therefore, still today, we have this very evil system of
Ezért a mai napig van ez a nagyon ördögi rendszer,
people who are not so-called Hindus, in their definition of Hindus, going inside the temple.
fogalmazásuk szerint, hogy nem
This is still going there. We are trying to do something to change it. Last time I had a small talk at one of our functions where a lot of people from the religious side of Puri were there also. I challenged them for a debate. I said that how can this happen? Because Jagannath happens to be the Lord of the universe. The name of Jagannath means Lord of the universe. When you say Lord of the universe, it belongs to the universe. You cannot restrict some people not to go inside the temple.
Nem lehet, hogy
How can
nem
you?
mehetnek be a templomba. Hogy lehet ilyen?
I challenge them for a debate, but some people are very rigid, very orthodox
De vannak, akik nagyon
in the views. So the consensus was, let us give some time for people's consciousness to awake, and they will change.
Időt adni, hogy az embereknek megváltozzon a tudat.
I said, hopefully it will come in my lifetime, I am not very sure.
Remélem, hogy ez az én életemben még
So that is the religious life. The religious life is very, very strict in Puri.
vallási élet Puriban nagyon szigorú.
There are so many rituals happening all around Lord Jagannath and Lord Balbhadra and Lord Subhadra. All around these three deities, but mostly Lord Jagannath.
De leginkább Jagannath körül.
And the people are all as a part of that. Even the secular people, the secular life of Puri is also related very much integrally to the religious part of the way.
Szekcióhoz tartozók is.
In fact, the whole of Orissa, if I may say so, the entire state
Orissa részt vesz.
is imbued with the spirit of Lord Jagannath.
Az új Jagannathnak a hangulata mindenkit áthat.
So that is there. I go back to my hometown year after year, go to the temple, worship there, do some rituals, but I do not conform to this particular aspect of the temple, which they have unfortunately kept up until today. Any of you has gone to Puri or to India? Any part of India? You have gone. Besides you, you have gone. Where?
I went to the north of India.
So many places.
Észak-Indiába jártam.
Okay, okay. When was that?
Mikor?
2 years ago.
2 years ago.
2 éve.
So what aspect of India did you like and what you did not like?
Melyik aspektusa tetszett Indiának és melyik nem tetszett?
Hát tetszett az északi rész, ott a Himalájában.
Himalayas.
Hát nagyobb városok van, ez a nagy hangzavar, meg ez a...
The bigger cities, there is so much
Az
traffic and noise
sok ember,
and a lot of people.
de ott föntebb északon ott...
But up north, it's nice.
You like that? Okay. And what you did like?
Mi volt, amit nem
What you did not
tetszett?
like?
Amit nem tetszett?
Big cities.
Igen, a nagyobb városok van a... Hát ez a tömeg, meg ez a zsúfoltság hangzavar.
The crowd and
The
noise
crowds.
was
Okay. Okay. It is like an ocean.
olyan, mint egy
So you have to merge in that ocean, as we say, in our spiritual terms. When you go to India, it's like an ocean.
Elmész Indiába, olyan, mint egy óceán.
Anybody else has gone to India,
Valaki más?
or is going to India, or has applied for a visa?
Tervezik vízumot kapni.
Yeah, you are going to India. Yes.
I heard of my pilgrimage, I heard that Lord Jagannath is even respected by the Muslims. So
Yes.
This is very strange because we hear a lot about enmity between Muslims and Hindus, and how is that? How can we reconcile that with the fact that even Muslims respect Lord Jagannath?
The Muslims who are practicing Jagannath Dharma, I have met some of these Muslims in Bangladesh. It's very curious, you know, Bangladesh has 99% Muslims. And there are some Muslims in Bangladesh who are practicing this Jagannath Dharma. So I asked them how they are coping with the fact that they are doing that. In Bangladesh, it is a problem because you can be ostracized, or you can be harassed, you can be persecuted, any kind of thing can happen. But they are very courageous people. In India, the numbers is not that many. They are not that prominent among the Muslim groups to openly say that we are worshippers of Hindu deity. In India, the sensitivities are also quite high between Hindus and Muslims, as you know. Muslims believe in converting. Muslims believe in converting. So if you, for example, marry a Muslim, you have to convert to Islam. Not with Hindus. Hindus don't believe in converting. So if you marry a Hindu, you can remain in your faith. You can still get married to a Hindu. So many foreigners I have seen are married Hindus, are living in India very peacefully. But about the Hindu-Muslim question, how far it has been affected, I don't think it has been affected much, because not many Muslims are devotees of Lord Jagannath still.
Can we say that actually they are people who were born in a Muslim family but their faith is Hindu? Can we say that? Is that a fair statement? I know that Islam doesn't allow conversion outward conversion. I mean, they are Muslims for life by birth, but their faith must have changed. Is that correct?
It is up to you actually, what you want to do. Yes, you can be born in a Muslim family and adopt another faith, but sometimes Muslims can go to the extent of putting some restrictions on your life, on your movement. And it may not be good for you can come away from that place to another place and live your life. But if you are living in that life with Muslim community and adopt another faith, you may be subjected to harassment. So it is not good. So if you want to do that, come away from there and live somewhere else. Because Muslims are still very, very orthodox in their view. At least the Muslims of India. I don't know the Muslims of Hungary. We don't have very many Muslims.
Not many. We have very good connection, interfaith connection with one of the Muslim communities. They are much broader minded than what we read in the news.
Yeah, there are Muslims in different parts of Europe. I go to Bosnia very often and they have a sizable number of Muslims. Majority of them are Muslims. Yes, that's true. But in India, Muslims are still in a very, I would say, cloistered way, in their own little. They have ghettoized themselves by their beliefs. They are not very open. They may be open in terms of intellectual discourse, but when it comes to religious practice, they will not budge 1 inch. And if they feel that somebody has come to convert them, then they will wreak havoc on that person. No question. Always the other way around. Always the other way around. Even if a boy marries a Muslim girl, he has to be converted. A girl marries a Muslim boy, she has to be converted.
Fiú az egy muszlim lányhoz, akkor föl kell venni a muszlim vallást. Hogyha egy lány megy hozzá egy muszlim fiúhoz, akkor a lánynak föl kell venni a muszlim.
They have brought us great culture. They have enriched our civilization, no doubt. But this aspect, I have not been able to reconcile this particular aspect. I sometimes feel that if the Muslims had not come to India, if Islam had not come to India, we wouldn't have been so rich as a civilization. Even the Vedic civilization. Because the Vedic civilization was a unidimensional civilization, just one dimension. Islam brought in a multidimensional aspect to that civilization. Of course, many religions, Buddhism was born in India, nourished in India. Jainism, we had another religion. We had Sikhism. 4 religions have been born in India. We have had many religions who have come. Islam has come, Christianity has come, Judaism has come. Jewish have come when they were being persecuted in the 1st century, right from the very beginning. The Christians have come right from the time they were with Jesus Christ. Saint Thomas came to India, who was one of the first disciples of Jesus Christ. He came to India. He landed on the shores of Kerala, and today there is a church of Saint Thomas in the south of India. We have a sizable Christian community in India. Of all types, Catholics, Anglicans, Reformists, or different kind of Christians. Goa, for example, is a Catholic Christian state. Goa, which used to be a part of the Portuguese colony. A very, very flourishing colony. And it has a very, very lively Christian community who follow the Christian traditions even today. Northeast, we have a lot of Christians people in our northeast. So India is that multi-dimensional civilization where you find all kinds of people in every part of India. So, thank you very much, madam.
Thank you very much.
I'm very happy here. I can even join you as a student. And you're most welcome to come visit us in embassy. Do visit us. And we have a small library which we can put to you. We have books on spirituality. There are many books on Hinduism. You can come and refer to those books as part of your course. You are most welcome to come. We are open on all days during our office hours, or working hours, which is from 9 o'clock till about 5 o'clock. Office time. Thank you. Namaskar.